Okay, I'm going to pull a random word with a random word generator, and I'm going to make it a noun. And then I'm going to just talk about what comes to mind straight away, talk about what it means to me, that word, and then maybe I've got some sort of personal story to that, and then often I think of something, some sort of prediction in that area. I sometimes go, on a bit on a tangent. I drift away a little bit from the original word, but it's just a little impromptu talk. So let's just get going. I've got this random word generator here, and so I have just selected noun. And so when I click the generate now button, it should come up with a new noun. Okay, spread. Let's talk about spread. Okay, straight away, couple things that come to mind. Spread something on your bread. So that's spread for me. That's the first thing that came to mind. But then there's other things. The next thing that comes to mind is the spread in the stock market. So if there's a spread, but I don't exactly know what it means. I think it's kind of like the how the price of a stock is spread out, I think. So you've got one stock, and the spread is I think it's between the bid and the ask. But hey, that is trading kind of terminology. I don't really care about that. I'm normally just investing. So that's the two things that come to mind straight away. Spread. I mean, it probably comes from spreading something out. So that's why, the stuff that's on the, that you spread on the bread. I think we just say spread to the butter or margarine that you spread on the bread, or anything else that you can spread out on a bread with a knife. I think, when we, my wife would say, like, oh, can you bring some kind of spread that we can put on the bread? I'm thinking of, something with taste. You can have any sort of spreadable paste, some sort of, I don't know, cheese that you can spread out, spread cheese. I don't really know the actual terminology, but that's what I would call spread. Stuff that you spread out with your knife on the bread. And then the other one, I can't really talk about the actual meaning. I just know that word exists in the stock market, and somehow the spread, I think it's maybe the area between the price that people are wanting to pay and the price that people that is offered, that the ask, what the company or the stock market is asking for it. Maybe, I'm not sure, but the spread is some sort of range of value, I think, range of price or range of value. I'm not entirely sure. I look it up, but I can't do that now. This is kind of random impromptu talk. So something personal. So spread on the bread, pretty simple. I like to spread things on my bread. I like to spread, what do I spread on my bread? Avocado. So I like the avocado when it's spreadable. So maybe a hot tip there. So when you want to buy avocados, you buy them green, because then they don't have any ditches yet, because they're quite firm. So you buy them when they're still green and quite firm, and then you keep them at room temperature until they get darker. And because you bought them when they were still green, they don't have any like damage on the under the surface. When you buy them already dark brown or even almost black, they have ditches that you can't see because they have been rolled around and touched and everything. And so when you put them at home when they're still green in a place where they can ripen a bit, and then when they're dark they get a bit soft, you can feel it when they get soft. A little bit on the surface, at mostly where it gets thinner, you can feel it. And then they get soft enough and they don't have any ditches and they're really nice usually. So that's a hot tip from me. And yeah, I spread that on my bread. I put either something else on it, like I like a relish on it. Any kind of relish, but I like my chili tomato relish. That tastes really nice together. And then I spread another stuff. What else? I like peanut butter, honey, peanut butter jelly. So jam and peanut butter. That's mostly what I put on my bread. If I'm talking about spread, I don't put any butter or margarine on it. If you're interested in that stuff, whoever you are. And then the other spread, I don't know actually about it, but what I can tell you is I think it's a term that they use, that traders use, and normally not so much investors. So I'm more an investor, not a trader. So I basically just buy and hold companies. That's another thing, right? I'm saying I'm buying companies, right? I'm buying shares of companies. I am not stock trading. I'm not buying something and then as soon as the price changes a bit, I'm selling. I don't really care. I am buying and holding a company. It's basically like if I'm a business owner, that's how I see it. A business owner wouldn't buy a business in the morning and then sell it in the afternoon. Or a business owner, a normal business owner doesn't go and buy a business and then as soon as the value of the company went up a little bit, like doubled in value or something, the business owner normally doesn't sell it just because the value went up a little bit. A business owner either buys a business and then works on the business for a long time until the value went up really well and the business is doing really well, and then they get a really good price for selling it after years and years of holding it and working on it. And that's how I see investing. So for me, it's investing. I'm doing a lot of research to find out which company has good value and is not priced too high, and that's what a business, someone who wants to buy a business, that's what they would do. They would do a lot of, due diligence. They would do a lot of research, look into the financials, look into the, what's the market like? What's the, who are the customers? What's the future prediction in that market, in that industry? And they are looking into that, and then they're looking at the companies, and then they're looking at how the companies have been doing in the past, and are they growing? Are they investing in new things? Are they advertising jobs? Those kind of things. You look at that, and then you maybe decide to invest, and then you hold that company because you actually know the fundamentals are great, and if the stock price goes up and down with market fluctuations because of some sort of because the market just moves due to whatever reason, right? Like just the sentiment can change on a daily basis. For an industry, it can just change. But, you wouldn't sell a business just because there's a couple of days of people not buying from your business, right? You would just think, okay, what can we do about it? Or is it going to change again? And normally it's just a short-term thing. So, yeah. And so investing is for the long term. That's what I tried to say here. And that's kind of my personal thing about it. That's what I do. I personally invest rather than trade. So that's why I don't really know what the spread means in the stock market. So, and yeah, my speculation, I'm not going to do any speculations on spread, like spreadable spread. I can probably tell you something that I think in the future, people will not have spreadable dead animal on their bread. So I don't think that there will, people spread now. I used to, and I liked it. Sausage, or I don't know what it like, meat mush, spreadable sausage. We had that in Germany. I don't know why. Anyway, it was really nice. It's smoked as well. There's like some really nice stuff. It's basically like blended meat and whatever is in there. I don't know. Probably like offcuts from meat, all blended together and made into a sausage with some herbs and spices. And it's really nice. It tastes good. However, I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think it's good. Why would you kill something if you don't need to? I think in the future there will be just plant-based stuff and lab grown. They call it lab grown. It's going to be factory grown. It's not going to be lab grown. At the moment they are in labs. Those things. It's going to be basically fake meat factories, and they're going to be really good fake meat, better than the real stuff probably. So that's one prediction. And then stock market, that is a tough one actually. I am very into investing, and I'm hoping that everything goes well over time, but I don't know. It's really hard to tell, and I learned that over the years that you cannot predict that, not even really long term, because the world is changing so much. However, the trend over the last 100 years or something, or 150 years, and since stock markets have existed, it is going up exponentially over the decades, over the years, and I'm just I'm putting some money on that it carries on going up for at least a little while, until money is maybe, hopefully, irrelevant. But it won't be irrelevant anytime soon. So I think, and you're buying into businesses. You're not it's not gambling in that way. It's gambling short term because you don't know what's happening, day to day. But it is, in the long term, it's buying good businesses and keeping them, and just see how they develop those businesses. And normally over time they do pretty well, and that's why the stock market over long time, always goes up. So but long term, I don't know. Maybe money won't be relevant anymore. So yeah, that's my 2 cents to that. And spread, man, I didn't think I could talk that much about spread. Those 2 little definitions that I could come up with. I don't know, there's probably more, but yeah, I thought that was actually quite interesting, quite good. Right.